Next topic is rules for naming a variable. Okay, so here we have to follow some rules whenever we are giving a name to a variable in Java program. Okay, so here we can see the first rule is variable name may have any number of characters. Okay, so we can use any number of characters in a variable name without the space. Okay, so that name may be alphanumeric. Okay, second one is it contain letters, digits, dollar sign and underscore. Okay, so the two special characters we can use in a variable name, which are dollar sign and underscore, as well as we can use letters and digits as a variable name. Okay, and the third one is the variable name must be meaningful. Okay, means always whenever we are using any variable name, okay, so the purpose of that variable should be represented by that variable name. Okay, and the underscore character is used, okay, to separate two words of a variable name. Okay, suppose that we are going to use a variable like this employee name. Okay, so we can use emp then underscore, okay, and then name. Okay, so this is the use of underscore to separate two words whenever we want to use those in a variable name. Okay, so in that case we can use underscore. Okay, the next token is assignments. Okay, so assignments token means to store constants in a variable using the token equal to symbol. Okay, and here the symbol equal to act as an assignment operator. Okay, so here this is the equal to symbol, that is the assignment token. Okay, so here in this next we can see declaration of variable. Okay, so here int a, float m, char ch, so these are known as declaration of any variable. Okay, and whenever we are assigning some values to these variable, some constants to these variables, okay, so for that assignments token is used. Okay, so here we can observe a equal to 10. Okay, so equal to is the assignment token, and because of this assignment token 10, that is the constant, will be assigned to a variable a. So that means a variable will store the value 10 in its memory location. Okay, the next one is float m, that is the declaration of variable, and whereas m assignment token equal to 20.5. Okay, so because of this assignment token 20.5 is assigned to variable m, and then m can hold this 20.5 in its memory location. Okay, so that is the use of assignments token. Okay, next topic is initializing a variable. Okay, so first of all just understand the difference between initializing a variable and declaration of a variable. Okay, so next I will show you how can we initialize a variable. Okay, so first of all just understand the meaning of initializing a variable. So whenever we are assigning the value to a variable, as well as we are declaring that variable at the same time. Okay, so that process is called initializing a variable. Okay, for example we can see here also. Okay, so suppose that I'm just displaying you int a. Okay, this is the declaration of variable. Okay, and at the same time with this declaration I am also assigning a value to this variable, that is 10. Okay, so this is called initializing a variable. At the same time we are declaring a variable, okay, as well as we are assigning a value to that variable. So that process is called initializing a variable. Okay, and whereas what is declaration of variable? Okay, whenever we are simply declaring the variable without assigning any value to that variable, so that is called declaration of variable. Okay, So just understand this difference between initialization and declaration of a variable. Okay, is we can perform this initialization of a variable in two ways in Java. Okay, the first one is called static initialization and the second one is called dynamic initialization. Okay, so just understand the difference between static and dynamic initialization of variable in Java program. Okay, so here the first one is static initialization. Okay, so the meaning of this static initialization is direct assignment of a constant to a defined variable. Okay, so here we can observe int a equal to 0, float f equal to 0 0.0, char ch equal to backslash u, then 0000. Okay, so just these all are the by default values of these data types. Okay, so later I will discuss about the data types, so in that time you can understand what is data type and what are the by default values of data types. Okay, so here simply just focus in one thing. Okay, here what I am doing, I am simply just assigning a value to a variable. Okay, as well as I am just declaring that variable. Okay, simply just focus here, int b equal to 10. Okay, so here b is declared as a integer data type, as well as this b is containing 10 as a value. Okay, so here what is static initialization? Direct assignment of a constant to a defined variable. Okay, and the second one is dynamic initialization. Okay, so what is dynamic initialization? So here whenever a variable is assigned any arithmetical or logical operation, okay, so that is called dynamic initialization. Okay, so here we can observe int a and b. Okay, so a and b are two variables of integer type, and next further I am just simply just here performing a arithmetical operation, that is a plus b. Okay, and then this arithmetical operation is assigned to variable c. Okay, so here what I am doing, here's c is declared as an integer variable, as well as this c is containing an arithmetical operation at the same time. Okay, and here we can see the example, float p equal to 2.2 and k equal to 5.82. Okay, so here p and k, these are two variables which are containing 2.2 and 5.82 values. Okay, and we can also observe this is the static initialization, okay, of variable p and k. Okay, so because here we are assigning the constants directly to the variables at the declaration time. Okay, so this is the static initialization. Whereas in the next section, float f equal to p into k. Okay, so here we can observe p into k is the arithmetical operation. Okay, and at the same time whenever we are declaring the variable f, okay, we are also assigning this arithmetical operation to variable f. Okay, so that means this is known as dynamic initialization. Okay, so once again, what is the difference between static and dynamic initialization of variable? Okay, in case of static initialization, okay, a constant will be assigned directly to a variable. Okay, for example, int b equal to 10. Okay, float f equal to 0.0. Okay, and whereas what is dynamic initialization? Okay, whenever a variable is assigned any arithmetical or logical operation. Okay, you can see here float f equal to p into k. Okay, so here p into k is the arithmetical operation. Okay, that is not a constant. Okay, this is the arithmetical operation. Okay, that is assigned to a variable f. Okay, so this is dynamic initialization. The next token is punctuators. Okay, so punctuators are signs or symbols which are used as special characters in Java. Okay, so some of the punctuators are Okay, the first one is question mark. Okay, so this question mark punctuator is used in ternary operators. Okay, in the next chapter I will discuss about ternary operators. Okay, so in ternary operators this question mark is used. Okay, the next one is dot punctuator. Okay, so we all know that this is the output statement, system dot out dot print line. Okay, so here we can see dot punctuator is used. Okay, and the last one is semicolon, and semicolon punctuator is used in a Java program as a statement terminator. Okay, so it indicates the end of a statement. Okay, so here we can see in the above example system.out.println, and here semicolon is used. Okay, so that means this statement has terminated. Okay, and other one is int a, that is the variable declaration, and here again we are using semicolon, so that means this is also again the indication of termination of this statement. Okay, so this is the use of this punctuators token. Okay, next token is separators. Okay, so separators tokens are the special characters in Java which are used to separate the variables or the characters in a program. Okay, so these are the list of different type of separates which we can use in a Java program. Okay, so the first one is comma separator. So comma separator is used for to separate the multiple variables in a same declaration. Okay, so we can see in this example int x y z. So here x y z are three variables of same data type, that is int. Okay, and these variables are separated because of the comma separator. Okay, second one is brackets. So bracket separator is used to enclose any arithmetical expression, as well as we can use this bracket separator for showing some output within a output statement. Okay, next one is curly bracket separator. So curly bracket separator are used to enclose a group of statements. Okay, and the last one is square bracket, and square bracket are used for the purpose of whenever we are using arrays in a program. Okay, so array is the new term for you. Okay, so we will discuss about array later in upcoming chapters. Okay, so simply just understand the use of separators token in a Java program. Okay, next one is operators, and we all know that operators tokens are used to perform arithmetical and logical operations in a Java program. Okay, and we have three types of operators which we can use in a Java program, which are arithmetical, relational, and logical operators. Okay, so these operators are also known as tokens. And the next token is keywords. Okay, so keywords are the reserved words which are already available in the Java library, and it contains some special meaning. Okay, and this special meaning is already known by the compiler. Okay, so we need these keywords whenever we are creating any Java program. Okay, so for example, some of the keywords I am just displaying here, like public, class, system, out, print line, for, etc. Okay, so these are the keywords which are also known as tokens. Okay, and these contains some special meaning which is known by the system compiler. Okay, so these are the different type of tokens which are used to construct any Java program. Okay, I hope you understand it. Thanks for watching this video.